It is a crucial aspect to consider for a fulfilling life and overall well-being. Because, how much we are in need of this in our current era, and every individual is lacking it. I come across a very limited number of individuals who are satisfied. And if you have ambitions in life, you unquestionably belong to the category that I am in. Category in which you often feel dissatisfied and unhappy for the majority of the time. I spoke with individuals who indicate that they are content, they appreciate everything, but upon further investigation, when probing and observing their emotions, it becomes evident that they are truly facing difficulties. He who does not acknowledge, he who does not see for himself, there lies buried the dog. There are many graves in this cemetery, a solemn reminder of the lives that have passed away. So if you're even listening to this, chances are things are pretty good for you, which means you understand that there's always room for improvement. Just conduct a simple analysis to get started on the right track. If you are not familiar with it, kindly search for SWOT in English letters on Google. SWOT analysis is a strategic planning tool that is used to identify strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats in a business or project. And you compile for yourself what the strengths are in your life and what energizes you, what brings you joy. And it is very important that there is no cost to this. It is not a credit. The credit of your emotions and energy state is determined by any external influence that enters your mouth or bloodstream. It is important to recognize that anything that goes into your mouth or blood is considered a credit, as it can impact your overall well-being and state of mind. I have spoken with numerous scientists at various points in my life and sought their advice on which substances I could utilize to achieve a state of intoxication and experience pleasurable sensations. However, of course, the context is not about drugs, but about certain supplements, peptides, and the like, and so forth. And it all comes down to one concept, that I possess an internal asset, and with the assistance of a supplement, I am able to unleash this internal resource. And irrespective of whatever the sellers of supplements, the sellers of air, may promise you, it is simply your inherent right to unleash your untapped resource. And the humorous aspect is that your body is actually accustomed to living, for instance, on only a mere 10% of its total potential resources. And when you start releasing 50% with supplements, the body begins to sound the alarm. At first, yes, it is a thrill, an energy boost, but then your tanks get depleted, and that is when the real problem starts to emerge and becomes a major challenge to overcome. And following the administration of such performance-enhancing substances, a state of depression is almost certain to manifest in the individual. However, it is also everything that brings us joy in terms of the actual results. Do you understand? The factuality of the outcome is crucial. So accordingly, you need to identify your strengths and how you want to influence your joy, happiness, life without credit. What is credit? So, you administer steroids to yourself and ascend to the heavens, but then, when the effects wear off, you descend from your elevated state just as deeply as you were elevated. In addition to that, you experience a penalty that you have to pay for the consequences of your actions. This penalty can, on certain occasions, be multiple times greater. So you have the potential to increase by 10 points, but may end up falling below the norm by 30. It is an absolute disaster, and I would strongly advise against anyone experiencing it. Therefore, our focus is on what brings joy. I highly recommend it, as I personally started using it just 2 months ago and have experienced its benefits firsthand. The ultimate tool is to recline on the couch and indulge in the luxury of doing absolutely nothing at all. Devoid of a phone, devoid of tea, devoid of dialogues, in a monotonous room where nothing distracts, refraining from looking out the window. This is a tool that genuinely aids in living happily and enhances the overall quality of life to a great extent. The fact of the matter is, it helps with the process of recovery. And you see, I'm quite sure you've watched a whole bunch of videos there about dopamine fasting, testosterone, abstinence, all these various topics. And it all boils down to the fundamental objective of enhancing the available resource, isn't that correct? But the resource also should not be depleted, that is the point. And the resource needs time to replenish. Have you looked into abstaining over there? Oh, I will increase my testosterone levels, then my muscle gains will enhance and all that jazz. But the catch is that you spend faster than it accumulates, and that's when you need to allow time for it to accumulate. Spending 3 hours lying on the couch is absolutely the most incredible and enjoyable thing that has ever happened in my life. I have a friend who is also a businessman, and I got inspired by him. Can you imagine? He truly inspired me with his success and determination. I just call him to go for a walk and he says, listen, I've had a week of lying around doing nothing. I mean, wow, this person can afford that. Well, I can afford it too. Well, I can very occasionally afford those 3 hours. I really value them. But the thing is, when I lie down like that, after 15 minutes, everything starts itching. It's impossible. Something needs to be done. I need to achieve something. You need to earn money, you need to acquire knowledge, or at the very least, I don't know, you could take a walk, look at the street, or do something productive. In short, absorbing something new into yourself, that's the issue. By not absorbing something new, it will help you enjoy life more. The second point is limitations. Work with limitations on everything that drains you, meaning everything that depletes your balance. Examine your relationships more closely. Your relationships should not drain you. Yet most relationships in one way or another tend to do so. This is an incredibly extensive topic and definitely not suitable for the conversation we are having at the moment. Now, let's talk about opportunities and threats. For example, a threat could be if you have a wife and you approach her saying, listen, I've listened to Igor Darch, and he says that we need to make some changes in life to become joyful. Now I have a table, a plan, in short, I will live happily and joyfully. She will be astonished. She will simply express her anger towards me and you by using verbal language to utter curses and express her shock. You know why? Because she will get scared. Everything might not have been very good for you, but at least it was clear, predictable, and now there is some new information, some new actions. This is scary. It frightens a person. And this relates to limitations. This is an example of limitations. An example of opportunities is when you lead something you have not done before. And that is all the foundation. It is about the balance of the sympathetic and parasympathetic systems. To achieve happiness, you need to maximize the time spent activating the parasympathetic system during the day. I will separately elaborate on this very interesting and extensive topic.